Hello and welcome to Dice Masters United. I'm Spug.
I'm Ben.
I'm James.
And I'm Peter.
Coming up in this episode.
Wizkids has dropped another bombshell!
Boom! A new rotation has been announced and it's deeper than anyone was expecting.
We'll be digging into what it means for the game and where it leaves the modern meta.
All that and more in the latest episode of Dice Masters United.
Yes, welcome back everybody to the latest episode of Dice Masters United. And we had everything nicely planned out for this evening until about 4 hours ago when, as James already said, Wizkids did indeed drop another bombshell. Thank you for that wonderful sound effect. It's like having Ben Burt in the room. And announced a rotation. And by heck, I think it has surprised everybody. I know that Jimmy O'Brien from Wizkids has been doing the rounds in recent weeks and talking about the future of the game. Obviously, we talked about in the last episode the changes that are coming in the Secret Wars expansion and the whole overhaul of the cards and so on. And in that, he did say rotation will be coming that will affect Memphis. In other words, what's happening at the the US Nationals, and Worlds in September. And I'm not sure anybody expected an announcement quite so quick, but I certainly don't think that anybody was expecting an announcement to be quite so drastic as the rotation that's been announced. Basically, what's happened is, if you haven't already seen it, the Wizkids have said that rotation for 2022, which means the cards and sets that can be used in modern competition, which basically for the majority of us is the format that people play, and certainly it's the main tournament level format. They have announced that Modern is going to become just Infinity Gauntlet and newer. The rotation will take place on the 29th of July 2022. So that basically leaves us with Avengers Infinity Gauntlet set, Dark Phoenix Saga, and then, well, when it lands, although it has just about landed in the UK, surprisingly, Superman Kryptonite Crisis. Only 3 sets.
When was Memphis? Sorry?
It's in September.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean, who saw this deep cut coming? We were sort of speculating on the last episode where they might draw the line, and I think some of us were saying, oh, they might want to leave Justice in, or they might want the wrestlers, oh, they might want this, that, and the other from the collector's box. But they basically binned off all of the pre-draft pack product and have reset it to what is really a tiny card pool compared with what we have been getting used to. Ben, what's your immediate reaction? How surprised are you by this announcement?
Yeah, I think on the last episode, we were probably talking about what we wanted from a gameplay perspective rather than what makes sense for them as a marketing/business perspective. I think, am I surprised? Yes. It's very, very deep cut. Am I logically thinking surprised? I mean, immediately my first reaction was, wow, that's really deep cut. But then thinking about it, I think it makes sense from a business perspective that they want to cut out the IPs, which they no longer necessarily have licensing agreements with, and also want to have a refresher of the product. They obviously can't just be like, we're releasing this new formatted card with the Secret Wars set, which we talked about last episode, as just the only thing in Modern, because obviously that's not out yet. So they have to cut back a little bit. They have to leave something left. So Infinity Gauntlet, the draft packs, and start anew from that, and have the Infinity Gauntlet and Superman Kryptonite Crisis as these kind of weird sets that don't fit with the new style. But are just new enough that they keep competitive going for a little bit longer.
Yeah. Peter, what's your reaction?
I was a little bit surprised. It does kind of make sense since they're sort of planning on a reboot of the game. So this way it makes it easier for people to get into Modern because there's only 3 sets.
Yeah.
but it sure is going to affect the meta.
Well, yes, it certainly is. I mean, we'll dig into that in a moment. James, are you knocked off your feet with surprise, or had you seen this coming all along?
I'm struggling to find something coherent to say about it. No. You could knock me down with a feather. You really could.
I do strongly feel that the IPs are the reason why they're cutting so deeply. The fact that WWE was the most recent set out before Infinity Gauntlet, I think made them have to kind of get rid of that, because I don't think they're doing another wrestling product. It certainly doesn't seem that way. So if I think something like Justice had been the latest set out, they would have kept that. But the fact that WWE was between that and Infinity Gauntlet, I think meant they kind of had to. It's interesting to see what they do with Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
And if there's any more of that coming out.
Yeah.
Would be that, I mean, I think this cut kind of intimates that maybe there's not. Maybe there's not.
Yeah. I mean, the WizKids licensing arrangement with Dungeons and Dragons, I think, continues, doesn't it, in terms of other products?
Yeah, they have miniatures and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same with wrestling as well. I mean, we're not privy to, obviously, what happens with that. But it's interesting that they didn't just leave the wrestling and Dungeons and Dragons, Lords of Waterdeep in. It seems like they would have kept that if they had some new like, it's going to be weird to only have, I suppose this modern meta only has one Dungeons and Dragons set in it anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think like you guys, I was really surprised that they've decided to cut out all of the basically the collector's boxes and the team packs, and have just moved totally, drawing a line in the sand just from the move to back to draft packs. I mean, like you said, Ben, I can totally understand it from a commercial perspective. It makes it easier in terms of people kind of getting into the game with that, and obviously with when the origin packs come. I mean, obviously at the moment, if you were to get into the game and the only thing that you could buy was these 3 sets, you would have no way of getting any of the basic action or psychic dice, would you? So that obviously explains why they're introducing the origin packs, because obviously that stuff used to come in all the collector's boxes as well.
I think, it's the lineup of the timing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just the fact that it'd be confusing if they release this origin pack and then they still have collector's boxes and draft packs, and what does that mean and what do we go with first? So to streamline it makes sense to just be like, we're doing draft packs, that's our main business model. If you need to start the game, you buy these origin packs, that's how you get your basic starter stuff, and then you go straight into draft. And that's how we're going to sell the product from now on.
Yeah.
But we have this weird intermittent time before those come out where it's kind of, you can't get into the game and just play modern.
Yeah.
Because there's no...
Yeah, because we talked about this time, didn't we? When the game obviously first started, it was nothing but, it was starter sets and booster packs that you could buy, so you could fairly easily do a draft, and that model was the format that they had. And then they introduced the collector's boxes, and then it kind of shifted in the sense of the draft packs were completely done away with. The boosters were gone. It moved to a sort of a fixed product model with the collector's boxes. And now we've moved back completely in the opposite direction, whereas there's no fixed product for the moment, not at least until the origin packs start coming out. And it's only draft product that you can buy. So it's just funny how the game has moved and changed and evolved over the 7 years. 7 years?
I know that people love the collector's boxes and the kind of limited collectability kind of aspect. You don't have to search for cards. You don't have to try and buy booster after booster. But actually, I think this game shines in draft.
Campaign boxes.
Yeah, LCG.
Campaign boxes, sorry, yes. Thank you, James.
Yes. The campaign box is the living card model where you kind of know what you're getting rather than I know some people really like that, but I think this game really does shine in the kind of draft element.
Yeah.
I think to lose that kind of loses a lot of the what makes the game exciting, and the kind of chase of the cards. Also, personally, I think that's kind of where this game should be. So I kind of like that they're getting rid of the. Although my wallet won't like it, but
no. But you can see from a commercial point of view. I mean, for me, over the last few years, I've bought one of each of the campaign boxes and the associated team packs, and that's it. Whereas, obviously, if you want to, when you move to the draft pack model, people are going to, they would hope, buy a lot more than just one
pain in the ass
of everything, because they'll want to try to get as many of the cards as they can. And certainly the chase cards. And it feels like they are now sort of tuning into the fact that, super rares are sought after. They seem to be introducing more and more super rares in each set and making a lot of the super rares good as well, so that the people will want to chase them. So I think, from a commercial perspective, they're just trying to encourage people to buy more stuff, which, you can totally understand from a company's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
But I think...
Could I just say that, all of that makes the world of sense. But I was just checking. I live in Europe, if people don't know, in Slovakia. And in Slovakia, I haven't been in touch with Peter at Ihrisko, but I'm just checking his website, which has been the only supplier in Slovakia.
Yeah.
And one of the main suppliers in Europe. And they have none of the modern product on their website. Zero.
Really?
No Infinity Gauntlets, and of course, none of the other stuff. So it feels like a bit of a screw you to Europe, quite frankly.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that's, again, I'm a very big Wizkids apologist, I suppose, but that's a lot true of all board game companies. And Wizkids does have the European kind of shop you can buy directly from them, although I have no idea how much shipping costs, probably a nightmare.
Doesn't ship to Slovakia.
Move back to England.
I'm
back
not
to the British Empire. Come on. God save our king.
Because I love Chris so much.
We're doing great over here.
Yeah. Travel chaos.
Oh, don't get me started on that. Well, we can talk about that afterwards. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. The less said about Empire, the better. James. I mean, that's totally. I totally get that, and I think there will be a lot of players around Europe who will be feeling that situation as well. In terms of, they're cutting to a modern meta that they basically have access to none of the cards. Peter, what's the state of play in the Netherlands in terms of getting hold of product?
Not sure. I ordered my Infinity Gauntlet from Germany. I might be able to get the newer sets from there as well, but I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
There might be some shops in the Netherlands that would be willing to order, but no one really plays here except for myself and Rick.
Right.
So I can do. There's only 2 players, 3, with some.
The shining light would be that with the Origins packs and the draft stuff, maybe you can get back. I mean, with COVID, I think that's killed off a lot of kind of player base in general. But theoretically, with the Origins pack and new draft packs, you can go back into stores and say to them, hey, we're willing to play again. Like, we have drafts we can do every week. Now we can buy a £10 or €10 draft pack and play a night or whatever it is every 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm a very big apologist when maybe I shouldn't be, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's dependent on people getting the product in their hands, isn't it? Which seems to have been the problem since day one when the game first launched.
Yeah, hopefully they've thought about this the fact they will, if they're pushing Draft as a product, they're going to need to get it into stores. They need to make sure it is available, and hopefully they haven't forgotten about us Europeans, even though the UK is no longer part of Europe because we suck. But Europeans and British people, and it's not just an American-focused move. Hopefully, that'd be a good thing.
So product woes aside, that leaves us basically with 3 sets essentially going forward, and we are losing a lot of stuff. So let's kind of dig into what we're losing and what it's going to mean. I mean, the Avengers. We think that Avengers Infinity is the oldest set, and the associated team packs. So Justice Like Lightning, I think, was the one. Oh, and there was the Kree Invasion one, wasn't there, as well, that came out at the same time. Those 3. I mean, we're losing stuff from there, aren't we? Straight up, in terms of things like Atlas, obviously, with a bag reset. I mean, that has been reprinted on Wolverine in Dark Phoenix Saga. But there's no more Thanos. Double overcrushing Thanos. And his 53 cost dice or whatever it was, which is a bit sad. So what else are we going to be missing from that particular expansion set?
I think the main thing that is going to be the globals that we're missing that haven't been really replaced yet. So the Atlas has been replaced by the Wolverine.
Yeah.
Stuff like the Kree Captain Global, sort of replaced by the Dark Phoenix Global. But the Static Global, in particular, is interesting. And the Supreme Intelligence Global, I think, are going to be lacking. Sorry, not Static Global, Techno Global. The one where you can make all the Psychics bolts. I think that's an interesting global that we've seen previously on Iceman and Superwoman.
Yeah.
I think it would have been interesting in the modern meta going forward, but yeah.
It's gone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Then there was the Harley Quinn team pack, wasn't there, which came out around about the same time. Is there anything that we're going to be particularly disappointed to be losing from that particular set?
I love Throwing Brick. I mean, I love Throwing Brick as a global action, The 2-cost action that lets you prep and cycle. It was massive with the Yanti back when that was a thing. So I think it's seen its time to shine, right? I think that has had a good amount of play.
Yeah, fair enough.
Was there anything that did see play apart from that and Target Lock?
The Poison Ivy a little bit.
Poison Ivy, yeah.
Oh, okay.
The one
and
that
I think there was...
Yeah, go on.
I personally, I like the Harley Quinn that kind of blew up a field. That if you carried it, you could re-roll everything. It was kind of fun.
Oh, yeah.
I think there was a Harley's Hyena, which was good with the Tabaxi Rogue making you draw dice. Or your opponent draw dice, sorry. But yeah, nothing really. Throwing Brick was the main thing.
Yeah, there wasn't anything particularly
I'd like to see a reprint of that, to be honest.
Well, you may get your wish. They seem to be doing quite a bit of that.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly quite sure what came next, but Warhammer was certainly in or around about this time, wasn't it? The first Warhammer set, we obviously didn't get. The second Warhammer set, sadly, because
Fabled.
The licensing thing, but Battle for Ultramar did land, and actually not a great deal of that saw much play in the modern meta. Peter, obviously, Venerable Dreadnought has been there or thereabouts, but is there anything else particularly that we're going to be sad to miss?
Well, some of the basic actions, Orbital Strike in particular, I would be missing.
Oh, you would be very sad.
That was a shenanigans card, yeah, for sure. Yeah, that'd be sad.
But other things, Static Field, which was also in Justice, but will also be cut. So we won't have that global anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Pay a
that's
mask,
true.
remove target attacking character, die from combat. So, and we're also losing the Wallop, the promo card, which stopped a blocked character from doing damage. So Overcrush is going to be pretty hard to stop.
Yeah, at least they made the Gladiator. They kind of retroactive or preactively. I don't know what the word is. But they stopped the Gladiator global
Preemptively,
useful, right? Preemptively,
Yeah.
Just like we're going to make that Gladiator global useless by removing the need for it. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
It won't be broken if there's no need for it. Just overcrush rules day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Because we've had, I mean, actually, in Modern until now, we've had 2 different versions of Static Field, haven't we?
3, Kate Bishop.
Oh, Kate Bishop, of course, as well. Yeah. And now they're all going.
Mm-hmm.
Or is Kate Bishop? Kate Bishop is pre-2020, isn't she? Because they do say in the announcement, one thing we didn't mention is that Modern Age will include the following sets: Infinity Gauntlet and the Draft Packs and OP kit, Dark Phoenix Saga Draft Packs OP kit, all other promos released in between 2020 and 2022. But I'm thinking that the only ones that there have been really are the what's it one, the Slingers thing that they did.
Yeah, but the Kate Bishop may be 2019, so you're saying
it was 2019, the Kate Bishop promo.
Kate Bishop.
So
yes, you have to say it like.
Well, yeah,
Elena,
yeah, but they must still be
Kate
gone, right?
Bishop.
Wow, that's uncanny.
I know.
It's like she's right in the room here with me,
isn't it? Yeah, that's what she does. So anyway, Static Field is going.
She might be. You'd never know.
No, exactly. We do lose access in the one. Just to get back on track on this Warhammer set, we do lose the thing that you could use to. Is it the Reboot Guilliman one where you could pay a shield and then field the next thing for free?
Yeah, but that's being reprinted as a global in the Kryptonite Crisis.
Yeah, Jimmy Olsen.
Oh, of course. Or is it Robin? I think it might be Robin.
I think it's on 2 characters.
Is it?
Ooh, yeah, it might be actually.
It's on Jimmy for sure, and I think Robin also.
With different energy?
Yeah, I think
possibly.
So. I think Jimmy's a fist and Robin's a shield.
Or the other way around. I don't know. But it's coming back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm sad about? Grombrindle's Fury.
Oh, that we never got to play.
I don't even have that.
I have it. I sort it out. Don't you worry about that. Do you not? Someone played it against me. Do you not play against me, Spug?
Really? Maybe. Yeah, I'm just trying to think.
You remember the Hulk from Thor?
Yeah.
Which was like if it or someone else takes damage. Sorry, another character takes damage. You take damage, or it spins up, or whatever.
Yeah.
Didn't you KO the Hulk by using Grombrindle's Fury and then rolling it like 3 or 4 times in a row to use the racy action?
I feel like that wasn't me.
Okay.
But
someone live.
Someone live, yeah, which over the last couple of years hasn't been many people, admittedly.
No.
So, yeah, but I don't think that's me. But I do have a copy of that card.
Very fun, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's nothing really, is there? I mean, the Venerable Dreadnought's getting reprinted. Instant War, I suppose, is a loss as well.
The names,
yeah. They kind of like names and like
explosion.
Bloat Drone would be sad to lose. I like the Lord of Contagion as well. That was kind of like a one I wanted to work. The Stomper. But I think all these kind of shenanigans-y stuff, like the Stomper and the Orc Knob, I know is very prevalent in Golden. And
yeah,
we're speaking as if these cards are like being like thrown into the fire.
Yeah.
They're still available now in a wider pool than we've ever seen them before.
Yeah, true. Yeah, they will be retired to the golden era or any other kind of era, because people, I mean, let's face it, this happens with Dice Fight, doesn't it, quite often, and certainly with other regular competitions, people come up with all sorts of new formats, don't they, that involve dredging up old cards, whether it be silver or maybe there'll be a bronze format or something like that coming in the not too distant future.
I feel like we're going to talk about in a bit, but the Peter's Team Pack format, which we'll talk about, is a great way to bring these cards back. Yeah,
very much so. Very much so. James might be missing a bit of Poxwalker action. You always enjoyed Poxwalker, didn't you, James? The unblockable,
the little lad.
Poxwalker. Ever since they took away my toys with the Outsider Global.
That was a great team. Yeah.
And
that could use a reprint.
Sort of replaced,
the Outsider Global.
I think by that definitely could. But the Poxwalker has been replaced by. There's other obscure stuff, isn't it, that just becomes unblockable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Same with a bit like the Ant-Man, the unblockable with the spin up and then it's unblockable.
Awaken.
Awaken. From Avengers Infinity.
That said, is there much unblockable stuff in the?
Actually, no.
I don't think so.
Speaking of which,
there's a Kitty Pryde that's unblockable, right, or something.
Should we move into the Trouble in Waterdeep?
Well, can I just mention a couple of things? I just wanted to say on the Instant War thing. Obviously, that is has massive synergy with the Hellfire Gala, where if there are 16 characters in the field, you win the game. Obviously, Instant War forces both players to field up to 6 characters, so Instant War and Hellfire Gala is pretty good. But then there's also Seeding Corruption, which has seen quite a lot of play as well, hasn't it? With where it says until end of turn, when an opposing character die takes damage, KO it, and people have used that with things like that. Is it Seth Rollins who, when you buy him with Impulse, he does 1 damage to everything?
True.
In the
and then there's also something from Trouble in Waterdeep, which was the one where if you use an action, everything takes 1 damage.
There's the Grey Hunter in set that deals 1 damage to all opposing character dice when he's KO'd.
Yeah.
Similar from the Staff of the Forgotten one, which we already lost, obviously, from the previous rotation. Yeah, so that's kind of a sad ability to lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Now that I've totally undermined your nice little segue, Ben, should we go on to the Trouble in Waterdeep?
Well, can I just say, though, I want to see a Golden Age team with Hellfire Gala, Instant War, and then the Ultraman. That's pretty fun. That'd be pretty good.
Because you wouldn't even have to buy them, would you then?
No, just use that Kryptonite on Ultraman, and use all the actions, Instant War. Oh, that's fun. Yep. Anyway, segue.
Yeah, Trouble in Waterdeep and the associated team packs. Now there is one particular WinCon that we haven't spoken about any. We haven't got to any of the big 3 so far in terms of the major WinCons, but obviously the Godcatcher was in this set. Are we going to be sad to see the back of that?
No.
Yeah. We weren't particularly big Godcatcher fans on this podcast.
Not particularly.
No.
It's a really good win condition that took... It wasn't a subtle win condition. It wasn't a clever win condition. You weren't clever if you played it.
I mean...
What's the Monty Python? He's not the Messiah, he's just a very naughty boy. That's how I feel about Godcatcher.
Godcatcher, yeah. But I mean, it is very self-sufficient, isn't it? Because obviously you can just buy loads of Godcatchers and they spark off each other. So really they do obviously work with each other. But as you say, it can mean that depending on what your opponent does, you don't have to buy anything else because you can just keep using them and rinse and repeat and produce another 10/10 token. So yeah, they did feel like almost maybe Dice Masters for Dummies. Dare we say that? I don't know.
Nah, not quite.
There was,
to use it efficiently, you needed a lot of moving parts.
Yeah.
It's not nearly as sophisticated as say Master Mold spoke.
Exactly. Well, you need to be.
That takes a real mind to use.
Technician, yeah.
Indeed. Yeah.
I have just realised, having scrolled through these lists, that we're going to use the Bishop.
Yeah.
It's gone.
Silgar's
gone.
I know.
In fact, all the 1 cost, the Poxwalker even, the Fist 1 cost and the Shield 1 cost are now gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, although Harley Quinn's coming back.
Although Harley Quinn was coming, and then it's less impactful because we're not going to have Clayface, which we'll get to, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of sad to see. Kind of sad to see the Silgar go because that was a fun combo with the Xanathar.
Yeah,
for sure.
Well, definitely one that will, I think, see still golden play. It's kind of a tech tool to mess around with stuff.
Yeah. Yawning Portal's obviously going to be disappearing. That's a sad one to lose. Both the two sort of. Yeah.
Actually, I think that Yawning Portal sums up my feelings about this set in general. that they all just took a bit too much work into to get right. The Yawning Portal never quite worked as well as I wanted it to. It's probably my kind of lack of skill at working it, but it just never worked for me. Same with Catcher.
Yeah.
I never got them to quite line up properly.
I'm not sure if many would describe the resident world champion
I know,
as having a lack of skill. I think you're being a bit humble.
Humble brag.
Exactly.
The Yawning Portal never really worked for me. The Stone of Galore also had like an interesting kind of thing. I'm not really a person who messes with teams like that, I suppose, and gets them. Like, I very much like mid-range teams, and I felt like a lot of this set was like get it to work straight away.
Yeah.
And like focus on that, which I don't think worked for me particularly.
Yeah.
A little bit like the Drow Mercenary.
Yeah.
With the obscure, which we talked about. People got that to work really well, but it was kind of like a get that to work and then rinse repeat that kind of thing very well. And I kind of like the adaptability. I think the biggest one for me is the Gazer. I think that's a massive loss.
that is a huge loss, especially with Master Mold.
Yeah.
Is there an Intimidate in Modern now?
Well, funny you say that. I think there's going to be about 2 left on there, I think. Blob from Dark Phoenix Saga. When fielded, lose 1 life. He's a 4-cost. He's not great. There's a 5-cost anti-monitor, the uncommon. He says intimidate when fielded, reroll. So I carriage line. That's not.
And Tombstone, right?
Tombstone, yeah.
The 5-cost gladiator. Gladiator.
Okay, that might be the one. But
no, that's gone.
Okay, so there's nothing like a 2-cost. Yeah,
no, it's not gone. Never mind. Yeah.
No, definitely no 2 costs.
There's Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
Is there anything less than 4?
Yeah, Spider-Man, the common, back to basics.
Is there 3?
Doesn't he have a
limited...
can
only use Intimidate on villains. Yeah, okay, never mind. Never mind.
Can only use Intimidate when your opponent isn't there.
Yeah.
When your opponent isn't looking.
Yeah. So actually, because that sort of leads us quite nicely on to a bit of chat about what it says in the Dice Masters rotation announcement, because they say, in short, Modern is going to become Avengers, Infinity Gauntlet, and newer. At this time, there are some cards on our radar that might require an action, such as a ban. And they list Thor, Jormungand's Sphere, which is obviously the super rare from Infinity Gauntlet that deals 2 damage when you field a character. But also Master Mold, who obviously spits tokens out of every orifice. And with a lack of Intimidate, could be a little bit unstoppable.
Yeah, tokens might be good now.
You've finally seen the light.
Maybe.
You've had your
It's fine. We have static field to push that.
We do not.
Oh wait, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's why. I mean, it would be kind of strange if something that's only just been released really would immediately be banned.
That's been going for big money as well, hasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, people who have invested in that could be a bit sad. If that.
Well, while we're talking about big swingy unblockable things, we move to the WWE set and then skip past the Marvel and DC and then go back to them.
All right, go on then.
Yes. Why not?
We do need to come back. We do need to come back to both the Marvel and DC set because I'm actually sad. I think those two would be nice to. For some reason, they said actually we are keeping X-Men Forever and Justice. I think they'd be nice if they kept those. Because WWE, I think, like the rest of the sets we've talked about, hasn't lost too much apart from the obvious, which is Becky.
Yeah.
Which will obviously be a massive hit. And was always probably
especially that global.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. How dare they print this card, really? Like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Who came up with this? I would like to have a word.
Like, it has 3 effects, and all 3 of them, by themselves, would have seen play.
Yeah.
And then they give it 288 on top level. It's just like, wow.
It's crazy. But yeah, Becky Lynch will be no more in the modern meta, which is pretty drastic. And I think there's a lot of people who are rejoicing and putting out the
I do think
bunting,
it's a good thing, yeah, really.
because she's just been a bit too strong for the game, I think. I mean, Jimmy came on our podcast a while ago and he basically said that they wanted to introduce something that they knew would shake things up and do something drastic.
I mean, it shifted the game to a whole new kind of like really aggressive, fighty style.
Yeah.
The attack step was more of a thing than it's ever been before.
Yeah, definitely.
Also gone were Jerry Lawler and Booker T.
Yeah, massive cards.
Yeah.
They're globals.
Yeah.
And Page Manager.
Which is a fun, but again, I think that deserves a place in Golden anyway, and we'll see play in Golden.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, actually, I mean, Page Manager was on some good teams in the recent 2-team takedown because people were using that to put a 12 cost in their bag and then draw it out with Eldritch Blast or Stone of Golor to do 12 damage. So that was that's a good point, James. I mean, I guess Jerry Lawler, the thing that enables a blocked or with the global that enables a blocked or blocking die to do double damage, that's maybe been a bit changed by the Gladiator global. That means your characters can't be targeted by globals.
Yes, I think having the ability to do either. Because they were both fist globals. I think the ability to be like, okay, you saved a mask, I'm going to do the Gladiator global. Oh, you realise that saving masks is pointless.
Yeah.
Now I can hit you with the Jerry Lawler global. I think having both of them at the same time, that Jerry Lawler global was bonkers. I think it's a good thing that's got.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And then the other big
double
one,
is great. Double is great, but not for a global, I think.
No.
Yeah. James, are you sad to be seeing the back of Lita, or will you be pleased that you'll no longer be tempted to try to get her to work?
No, I think she's had her time. She can sod right off now.
The other big card from this, I suppose, is alongside Becky and maybe the two actions, is the Oscar, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The reduction of masked characters was massive and made stuff like the Green Lantern plausible, even though it probably shouldn't have been anymore. Never maybe really made it to the top table.
No.
But very strong. It was kind of exciting because every release you were like, what's the new mask character I can reduce the cost of?
Yeah, that's right.
We just infinitely talked about it, didn't we? And then the last thing I want to say that I'm sad about is the Kurt Angle and the tag out ability going in general.
Oh, yeah.
Tag out is cool.
Tag out was a very interesting way of using pump in a very kind of niche way that you could set up better than your opponent. It's not like just a pump where you just pay the energy to get a character bigger. Yeah. You had to kind of have some forethought in this. Also, it was a great way of cycling stuff. Especially worked well with someone like Pip the Troll, where it was shields anyway. I quite like that.
Yeah, I feel like the WWE set was one of the, and it may be that I'm naively kind of assessing the other sets that we've had, but it feels like the WWE set had an extraordinary number of cards that promised much, but then were basically just completely unplayable because of Becky Lynch. Things like the bloke with the sock on his hand. Mankind. Yeah, that thing, when he's active, whenever your opponent preps one more dice outside their clear and draw step, you may prep a die from your bag. That was like a really cool thing if you get to leech off their
I do think I'd be interested in seeing WWE's place in Golden.
Yeah.
Right, I think some of these cards will be like, I think some people will have favourites that they'll keep coming back to and trying to tinker with in this set. Stuff like, for me, the Scott Hall in general, where you can spin everything up when you attack with it, is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
They didn't really see enough play, in my opinion.
No. Yeah, there's plenty of good stuff there. And obviously it has completely changed the game in the sense of it brought the first actual photos into Dice Masters. I don't know if we will see the like of that again. We'll have to wait and see to see if they're going to bring any more IPs in, or whether we're going to get any more of this sort of stuff. But it certainly played its part. Should we move on to what have we got left?
That shouldn't have been
the two big ones. I know. Justice. We're losing some huge stuff from here, aren't we, Peter?
For sure. In particular, the Clayface Global, which is probably my favorite global in the game.
Really?
Yeah, it's just so good. And especially now that we had the rare Mr. Sinister, it was just such a great combo, because you could turn any mask into a fielded sidekick and a prep sidekick, basically.
Yeah.
It was reminiscent of the PXG.
Yes.
Really, it was the closest. I mean, it was a thinking man's PXG, wasn't it?
Yes.
In a lot of ways. It was like you had to have kind of like.
Oh my goodness, man!
Is that too pretentious? Sorry, James.
Obviously not for people who play God Code.
But it took a lot of kind of. It was so baffling to me sometimes especially when both players had Clayface.
Oh, so good.
It was like, okay, what am I doing? Like, I can Clayface like twice on the first turn, and then I can buy a character, I Clayface that in, and then I can buy a thing, and then you end up buying stuff that's not worthwhile just because you can Clayface it and get an extra energy.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think actually, even, we've talked on this show a lot about the 3-turn theory and sort of going over the first 3 turns of a team where you put it together. If someone brings Clayface, that completely goes out the window.
Yeah.
To such an extent that really you have to think about that and think what you would do if there was a Clayface, because there's a lot of teams that will include it. And
then oftentimes you play games where neither of you had Clayface.
Yeah.
And then still turn one, you'd be like, I'll buy this, I'll Clayface it in. And you'd be like, oh, wait, there's no Clayface.
Wait a minute. Why did you not bring it? What's your problem? Yeah, exactly. And we lose the Atlantis Global, don't we? And that from there, I mean, obviously that's been superseded by the Mr. Sinister.
But the action was really good.
Global.
The action was really good too.
With the Becky Lynch, and then I think, Peter, you were the first person who I saw do that, where you prep the Becky Lynch, the Atlas, Atlantis, turn 1 with the Becky Lynch Global, and then turn 2 just threw everything into your prep area. So turn 3, you rolled everything.
And bought a Thanos.
Which was, crazy.
Yeah.
And then a couple of shout-outs for my personal kind of... Well, obviously, I won Worlds with the Green Lantern.
Yeah.
And then I lost Canadian Nationals and US Nationals with the Atom.
Oh, right, yeah.
Which are both losing. Direct Damage monsters on their day.
Totally, yeah.
Were really good. And then, obviously, James, you loved the Parasite at some points.
Yeah, he was good. He was the one that adds his attack onto other people's attack.
Yeah, that was a really cool ability.
Yeah, well, it was. I like the Bizarro stat flip.
Yeah,
is going. Is that being replaced?
Yeah, we're losing that. I don't think
we're
so.
having a replacement yet. No.
Is there a force block in New Modern?
Ooh.
Also,
no, I don't think
plenty of force attacks. I think
there are force attacks. Yeah. I'm not sure if there's a force block. Yeah. We also lose investigation. Draw and roll 2 dice, the basic action.
Yeah, and Power Almighty, which actually probably bring me back to the other thing about this set. There was some cards which I read and I was like, wow, this card's going to be so good. Stuff like the Power Almighty, but also I think the Yellow Lantern Ring, the one that gave everything too late.
Yes.
I quite like that one.
Wasn't quite as good as it could have been, maybe. There's a Tana that gave all your Mystic characters a tune, was pretty good.
Yeah.
But again, not as good as maybe it could have been. Strike in general was good, but not as good as it could have been.
Yeah.
The who was the guy who did a damage whenever your opposing character is attacked?
Oh, yeah.
Phantom Stranger?
Phantom Stranger?
I was going to call him Dark Dude, but
good, but not as good
Hard
as
to
he
find
could
a
have
team
been.
builder with that.
Yeah.
Can I just say
things.
that there is, just before I forget, because I will, Investigation is in Infinity Corner, isn't it? It's that one with Jessica Jones in.
Oh,
Aha.
right. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Good shout, James.
So we're not losing that.
Good shout. We are not losing that. Yeah.
And then the poison ivy that clears itself and deals damage. Not as good as it could have been, maybe?
Yeah. A tier 2.
It can still,
I would say.
Yeah.
Decent, but not great.
It could really catch you off guard, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, and she had good synergy with, she's a 5 cost, but you could buy her for 3, couldn't you, with Oscar, and that had good synergy because you'd field it, and then it would buff Oscar, and then it would do damage to your opponent and its field, and that was nice. Nice.
And actually, the Black Adams I thought promised a lot, but didn't quite. I think this was a set of stuff that promised a lot, didn't deliver, and then some stuff where we read it and were like, okay, whatever, and then it turned out to be amazing, like the Clayface and the Atlantis, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, so there is a lot of good stuff. I mean, Justice has certainly been one of and the associated team packs has been one of the strongest sets. I mean, I think often people chat about, if you were going to buy one of the campaign packs, which would you buy? And I think that is a name that is definitely comes up regularly in that conversation. That Justice box is really, really good.
Yep.
But we should move on to the X-Men Forever and the associated team packs. And I think at this point we might have to ask the listeners if they might mind stumping up for payment towards counselling for our resident world champion, because Ben, you're going to be losing one card, I think, that's particularly close to your heart.
It's just like, the Dani Moonstar empathetic illusion casting was the bad boy of my life for like the last what a card for so long.
Yeah.
The only team pack I bought 2 of because I wanted more dice, because I was like, I just want 4 dice for this stuff.
Yeah.
What a good card.
Very, very good. Very good removal, damage at the same time. But of course,
so cheap and easy. I just
cheap. And she was masks. Nice with Clayface.
Cheap date.
Yeah.
Good masks.
Yeah.
Dealt damage. That's not to like.
Good all round. Oh, but of course, I mean, if they'd have kept this particular campaign box, etc., and team pack in, but got rid of the wrestlers, then it would have meant that there would be no forced block, which obviously she really thrived on.
Yeah, she did. For sure. But I mean, even so, just get her out, attack with her. They can't really block her. Just chip damage here and there. And then 2-cost masks is just like the thing, right? For whatever reason, 2-cost and masks have always gone like really well.
They have indeed.
And this is the best one.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people are going to be sad to see the back of Dani Moonstar. What else are we losing from Peter? I mean, equally, you might need counselling for losing one particular cool guy from the X-Men Forever campaign box.
Yeah, my homeboy Iceman.
Yes.
Who brought me the European Championship. I will miss him dearly. He was always good to me.
He was.
I really would like to see that ability reprinted. The Nova kind of Iceman ability.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just such a cool ability.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it does come back.
In some form.
In some form, in some way, in a future set. But that is going to be one that you're going to miss. I mean, there's other sort of global-like stuff that we're going to be missing there. There's obviously I want to say the Professor X Global. There was that Professor X Global, wasn't there? In there, that was the
Walking
to me, my
Global.
X-Men.
Yes.
Yeah, no. Didn't like that.
Sorry, Ben, say that again.
The Walk with Elias Global, which is the same thing, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
but this time it was on a character, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing from this set, outside of the ones we love, which are Iceman and Danny, I think is the Hope Summers. I mean, basically all our Dark Phoenix Saga review was Hope Summers. This is good.
Yeah.
Summers. This is good because
wasn't she voted best card in set for Dark Phoenix?
For Dark Phoenix, yeah.
yeah.
It's going to change massively what that set can do and the effect that set will have.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it was it's a bonkers ability, really, just to be able to like copy. I think we should probably do some kind of gameplay tournament thing where we have everyone has Hope Summers on their team, and what can you do with it?
Yes,
Dark Phoenix Saga included, because it's so good, it's so fun. Being able to copy like a 7-cost X-Man and just being like, now it's a 3-cost. What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah. But there's a lot of other good stuff.
Deadpool also. The Deadpool.
Yeah, Deadpool.
I was wicked as well.
Overcrush and the +3 attack.
Yeah.
I'm kind of sad to see Kitty Pryde go.
Gonna make your X-Men cheaper.
Yeah.
There's those Jubilees.
And the Jubilee, of course.
And the Jubilees, my favourites.
Also, 2 good names. Mimic,
Flying, Blasting, Slashing.
Mm.
And the Polaris, which is not a particularly good card, but good.
While active, each player may only use 1 global ability each turn, though. That was a pretty restrictive ability. Didn't see massive.
I'm not sad that you see Saturn go.
No, I don't think anybody will be.
Of course, hate Rachel, that sort of thing.
Another half of the sort of hope going is the Rachel Summers.
Yeah, I would like to see what that could do in the new model with Dark Phoenix. We didn't really get to see.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty good against like Master Mold tokens.
Master Molds,
yeah.
Especially with the Dark Phoenix Global being able to just trigger that KO. Regularly and with an added benefit. I really like that, and I think one of the other sad things that I'll be sad to see go, they never really, I don't know, it didn't really play out how I thought it might with the teamwork, where your active characters get +1/+1 for each of your other different active characters that shares an affiliation. I thought with some of the kind of new stuff, I'm thinking about the Sabretooth Brotherhood affiliation, giving +1/+1 to all Brotherhood characters would have been interesting.
Yeah.
Totally. Never saw the play it maybe could have.
Yeah, no. But I feel like there'll be people sort of celebrating and commiserating in maybe equal measure that Hope is now not in Modern, particularly because obviously the Dark Phoenix Saga expansion brought so many X-Men targets for her to copy. It would have been
really, really strong.
So that might not be a particularly bad thing. So yeah, there's a lot of great stuff that's going to be going. I mean, we've gone over quite a bit of the things there. But is there any one particular card that we're going to be sad to lose, and one that we're going to be happy to see the back of? I think for me, I almost feel like it's the same card in a way, but. I'm definitely happy though that Becky Lynch is going. I'm going to start off by saying that. There's a bit of me that's sad. I don't quite know why, but not because I never really played her very much. But I am definitely happy to see the back of Becky Lynch because she just broke the game in so many ways, and was just everywhere. What do other people think?
Well, I think the Becky Lynch. A lot of us held back on the Becky Lynch. Do you know? We didn't have we didn't see enough competitive play while she was around.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a Worlds tournament, for example, when she was active.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Like, Becky will never win Worlds.
Whoa. Look at that. That's
will she ever win a national tournament? She won't.
No, she won't. No, she won't.
No.
So she'll be forever available in Golden Escalation?
Well, she might not. Because that's another thing.
In Global Escalation. She has a global.
But it says some of the strongest cards leaving Modern are also going onto our watch list for Golden Age and Global Explosion, as James calls it. And it is Becky Lynch, Maiden Island, and Becky Lynch, the Man, and then the Godcatcher, Famous Walking Statue.
Yeah.
Those three might get banned.
So, I mean...
That's another Becky.
It seems like we all held back a little bit on using Becky. Like you said, like, I'd never really used Becky as spammy as maybe I could have. I've used it quite a lot, but not fully focused on Becky, apart from maybe Worlds Online, which isn't official.
Yeah.
So, a little bit sad because of that, but not really because I think she needed to go.
Yeah.
And then the most sad because RIP Dani, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we could have answered that question for you. James, what are your thoughts?
No, there's nothing I've formed an emotional bond with. There's been plenty of good cards mentioned, but nothing that I'll be sorry to lose or that I'll be glad to see the back of. Nothing like Ultraman. Nothing.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing that was your card.
No.
Nor
my
easy come,
name's.
easy go, eh, James?
Yeah, take it.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Peter, what are your picks?
I'm probably saddest to see Clayface go.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was just yeah.
It was such a tinkerous
It really
card.
sped up the game,
Yeah.
and
In a
I
very
like that. I think it's going to be
tactical
slower format going onwards without Clayface.
Yeah.
I'm not really particularly glad to see anything go, really, because, well, I mean, Becky, of course, she was a bit too good. But I'm going to miss that global.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm with you on that. Yeah, I do think that global is so
Mr.
handy.
Sinister Global, who needs anything? Just shovel the psychics out of the field and put them in prep. And then...
I feel like with Clayface, see, the thing is, with Harley Quinn, with the one cost Harley Quinn coming, with Clayface and with Mr. Sinister, I think that just makes, that's like too much. Personally.
No such thing.
Well, I don't know. I think it might make, we might get into a situation, if those things were all available in Modern, that the game almost goes too fast and the person who's going first again gets the big advantage and end up potentially manufacturing a turn 3 win that other players can't do much about, and we don't really want that.
No, for sure.
So I think
there are reprints.
I know, it's so fascinating because the new Modern now, going into it, the big win conditions, as I see it, are basically Master Mold and Thor, right? They're the known win conditions, which are
yeah.
But they're both 6 costs. And now, how do you get to a 6 cost quickly without Clayface?
Well, I think Sinister and Dark Phoenix. I think Sinister and the Dark Phoenix.
Sure, but how early can you do that? Because can you do that turn 2 by a Master Mold?
Yeah.
Can you?
I think you can. Yeah.
If on turn 1,
second,
you just use the Mr. Sinister global basically on your opponent's turn.
Sure.
Then you have.
But that's if you go first. If you go second, right?
Yeah, if you go second, yeah.
No, you can still do it if you go first. But
because what can you spend?
You can spend a fist on Wolverine's global.
Sure.
And then spend the other 2 energy on Mr. Sinister. And then you can buy a 7 cost on turn 2.
If you roll bolts and the exact energy. It's not as easy, though.
It's not as easy, for sure.
And will you have it prepped over as efficiently?
Well, not without Becky Lynch's table.
No, for sure not. You cannot buy and prep a 6 cost on turn 2.
No.
I think.
The other thing that you mentioned, Ben, when we were talking about this before, was the variety of IPs that we're now missing. We're basically just back to DC and Marvel. What do we feel about that?
Sad, in general.
Yeah.
But good for business again. It's all business decision, clearly. I mean, which you can't really criticize them too heavily for, because at least they're trying to keep the game alive, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Definitely. Well, it will be interesting to see what kind of rules going forward in the new meta. I mean, obviously, there are other things. I mean, Phoenix. I wonder if Phoenix could become the Phoenix rare that prevents things with an attack of 4 or less from blocking. Could become
6 cost though. Again,
I
don't know. We got so used to 6 cost being just like, yep, let me buy it. We've lost that ability to do it regularly.
Yeah.
As efficiently as before.
Yeah. That is true. I mean, Sinister will continue to help. Dark Phoenix will continue to help.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, they both will. Yeah.
We will see. All right. Well, that is rotation. A lot of stuff is going on. We will see what happens in terms of how the new meta kind of shakes up. But we are moving to a very small card pool. According to the Dice Coalition Team Builder, we're going to have a card pool of just, I think, 466 cards, which is tiny when you think about where we've been before now and, well, where we were. I mean, where we were pre-rotation, I think that's something like 1,800 cards before the very first rotation. But in the, I think the modern meta currently is something like 1,100 cards. So we're losing about 700 from this rotation. It's a big, big cut.
Massive shift.
Yeah. Things are changing fast. But that is that. What did you make of rotation? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Obviously, if you want to get in touch, then we'll give you the contact details at the end of the show. But with that, we'll move on to our next segment. Okay, so it's just AOB that we need to round up. And the first thing to mention, Peter, you have been beavering away on a new tournament that I think has begun. What is it and how will it work?
It has indeed begun. Jason Lucero asked the question on the Discord, which team pack was best? And people had some ideas about that. But then, as we were discussing that, Rob from over at Breath Weapon X and myself, we pretty much simultaneously had the idea of organizing a tournament to find out which team pack was best. And so we've done that. And there are exactly 16 team packs, which is excellent for a tournament. So it's underway now. A couple of matches have already been played, and we're going to do 3 rounds of Swiss.
Yeah.
And then we're going to split it into a top 8 and a bottom 8. And then we're going to do knockout rounds. And then we'll see who is the best of the best and the best of the worst. And then we'll pit those against each other as well, just for fun.
So all of the 16 players have been allocated a distinct team pack, have they? All of the 16 are being represented by somebody. Yep. Are you playing? What have you got?
I am not playing. I would have wanted to play, but we felt that we would leave it. If we didn't come up to 16, we would fill in the spots. If someone drops, we will fill that spot. But for now, we're just, tournament organizers and not actually playing.
So we'll have to rely on our man in the huddle, as it were. Ben, you're taking part, aren't you? I believe.
I am.
What team pack have you been?
Justice Like Lightning.
Now that sounds like a fix.
Yeah, not quite as good as the
Defenders.
one with Dani in it. Yeah.
I've got that one.
James got that one. So.
I'm competing.
You're playing.
Oh, yeah. Apologies, James.
You get Defenders. You actually get Defenders.
No, he has got.
No, I've got the X-Force.
He has Dani.
You got X-Force.
Oh, brilliant.
I'd swap you because I like that Justice Like Lightning, in fact.
Yeah, Justice Like, I can't complain too much. Justice Like Lightning is pretty good. There's a lot of good cards on there. I think pretty much everyone has a good copy of an ability. Like all of the characters
decent,
are decent.
Yeah.
Well, because a lot of them are double-sided, aren't they? So you've got more to choose from.
Exactly.
Of course. Yeah, that's a bonus. Yeah. So how when will it all be complete, Peter? When will we have a winner?
I think we have the final tournament planned for July 16th.
Okay. Yeah,
so
and that's a 1 day sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, good. Well, we look forward to hearing which team will be crowned the greatest team pack. Excellent. Now, we've also got a bit of dice fight going on. James, do you know what's happening over the next couple of Thursday nights?
June the 30th. I guess that would be the next one. Is that where
Yes, it would.
Oh, I think so. Marvel versus DC.
Oh.
Golden and orange. That sounds pretty good.
Yes.
I might actually give that a go.
Well, Marvel versus DC is what Modern's going to be, isn't it, basically?
Yeah, that's true. This is golden. And then on July the 7th is Legacy, if the numbers are to be believed, 28.
28?
28, I know.
Good.
It's been going almost as long as the game itself. Yeah, there you go.
Wow. So does that mean... Yeah, so that's Thursday nights. All we need is a webcam, a link to the Discord server, which you can find in the show notes. James, I'm sure you will add that in. It's a bit of fun, 3 games usually, and it starts at 9 o'clock UK time, 10 o'clock Central European time, and earlier or later if you're in other parts of the world, obviously.
And continuing thanks to Rick and Danny for keeping that going. Thanks.
Excellent. Yeah.
Yes, I need to draw. I haven't played for a while. I need to get back on that.
Yeah.
Summer's coming.
Yeah, it is, yes.
I know, holding out for that. Everyone.
Very good. Okay, well, it's been really good to have your company throughout this latest episode. We hope you've enjoyed it. If you have, it would be lovely if you could leave us a lovely review using your favorite podcast app. Don't forget to subscribe so you can be the first to hear about a new episode. If you want to get in touch, you can send us an email. James, what is the best email address?
It's hello@dmunited.eu.
It is indeed. We will see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Oh, cheery bye.
Beery tie?
Bye-bye.
No, beery chai? Beery chai.
What?
Cheery bye, beery chai.